The year 2025 has just begun, but already Taiwan is under attack. In just the first 2 months of this year, multiple undersea cables around Taiwan have mysteriously snapped. 2 Chinese fishing vessels, Shun 39 and Huangtai, are prime suspects. And this isn't just some coincidence. It's a part of a growing, dangerous gray zone warfare China is conducting against the free world. You might think that a broken undersea internet cable just means slower Wi-Fi, but in reality this is about something bigger: Taiwan's national security, global connectivity, and even its crisis responsibilities. According to data from the Internet Cable Protection Committee (ICPC) and Taiwan's telecom operators, the rate of undersea cable breaks in the Taiwan Strait is far higher than the global average. Worldwide, there are about 100 to 150 undersea cable breaks each year, with only 50 to 100 of them involving fishing vessels. The rest is caused by construction or some other reasons. However, in the Taiwan Strait alone, there are over 20 cable break incidents annually, accounting for more than 15 of the global total. In 2023, China's vessel cut off Matsu from the world for 50 days. No wired internet, no smooth financial trades, limited communication, and now in 2025 it's happening again. This isn't a glitch, it's a warning. China isn't just testing Taiwan's cables, it's testing Taiwan's resilience, and the world needs to pay attention. In today's video we will dive deep, no pun intended, into what's really happening under Taiwan's seas, how these cable breaks threaten our security, and what Taiwan and the world must do next. It's not just Taiwan's problem, this is a frontline of the global fight for freedom and information. Let's break it down, because the war you can't see might be the one we can't afford to ignore: cutting the undersea cables. Over the past decade, Taiwan has seen a disturbing rise in incidents involving undersea cable damage caused by Chinese civilian vessels. On January 3rd of this year, a Chinese ship named Shun 39 was suspected of damaging a critical cable while dragging its anchor. But this isn't an isolated event. Back in 2023, 2 separate undersea cables connecting the Matsu Islands were also damaged by Chinese vessels, leaving the entire region without wired internet for 50 days. 50 days without stable communication. Imagine the impact that has on our daily lives, businesses, and even basic government operations. But here is where it gets even more concerning. The vessel Shun 39 wasn't just any ship. It was disguised as a foreign fishing boat, and it was found to have 2 different aliases, 2 separate flags, and also 3 unique Maritime Mobile Service Identity (MMSI) identification numbers. That's not an accident, it's a calculated effort to hide its real identity. It's a part of a larger strategy: intentional, covert, and increasingly aggressive. The salami slicing strategy. What we're seeing here is a textbook example of what's known as a gray zone warfare, or what some call the salami slicing strategy. These are hostile actions that stop just short of open warfare, but still directly threatening a country's security. And while some people in Taiwan might still be unaware of this, or only half convinced that it's happening, the evidence is right in front of us. It's happening now, and it's happening often. For Taiwan, the sabotage of undersea cables is a core tactic in this strategy. Taiwan is a high-tech nation. Their economy, their communication networks, even their diplomacy depends on stable global connectivity. And undersea cables are the backbone of that. According to expert analysis, these acts of sabotage could involve fishing boats deliberately damaging mooring lines, massive dredging operations that expose cable to risk, also trawling activities that break them, or even large cargo ships damaging them, whether by accident or on purpose. And let's be clear, this isn't just about slow internet. A cut cable can disrupt international financial transactions, delay government operations, and weaken military command efficiency. This is strategic, and it's calculated. And this is exactly what gray zone warfare looks like. Sabotaging these cables is, in effect, an invisible blockade against Taiwan. It limits the international connectivity, disrupts the flow of information, and could severely weaken the government's ability to command in a time of crisis. The Taiwan Strait has seen a disproportionately high number of these cable breaks. And this isn't random, it's a direct consequence consequence of China's gray zone warfare strategy. These years, the number of frequency of undersea cable incidents around Taiwan has continued to climb, and many of these cases are tied to suspicious vessels operating under the cover of routine activities like trawling, sand dredging, or other maritime work. But look at their movement patterns. They're anything but routine. They're erratic. They suggest something more: testing, probing, possibly rehearsing ways to disable the critical infrastructure of Taiwan. And cutting these cables isn't just a technical attack, it's also a psychological one. It's designed to intimidate, to create uncertainty, to fuel public fear and manipulate opinion. And Taiwan isn't the only target. I've mentioned before how Chinese vessels have damaged undersea cables in the Baltic Sea, triggering diplomatic tensions in Europe. It's the same playbook, just on a different front. This is a global issue, and more countries are waking up to it, because China isn't just disrupting Taiwan, it's testing the limits of what it can get away with everywhere. Taiwan's response. In response to this growing threat, the Taiwanese government hasn't been standing still. A number of countermeasures have already been put in place, starting with officially classifying undersea cables as critical infrastructure. That designation alone is a major shift, recognizing how vital these systems are to the national security of Taiwan. One of the key steps Taiwan is taking is the creation of a database of suspicious vessels. This allows authorities to monitor potential threats in real time and track patterns that might indicate hostile activity. But Taiwan isn't facing this challenge alone. The government is also working closely with international partners, sharing intelligence, coordinating efforts, and strengthening the collective defense against China's gray zone tactics. Since 2023, Taiwan's Ministry of Digital Affairs has launched a major initiative under the Forward-Looking Infrastructure Development Program. It's called Emerging Technology for Communication Resilience in Contingency or Wartime Scenarios Project. And what's the focus of it? Over 770 key locations across Taiwan, including critical infrastructure, remote offshore islands, and even 3 overseas stations. And the strategy? Deploy non-geostationary orbit satellite equipment, or NGSO satellites, to test and verify if they can reliably provide communication services in an emergency. And the results so far are very promising. This project is shaping up to be a crucial backup system for Taiwan's future communications network. At the same time, Taiwan must keep strengthening regional cooperation, especially with allies across the Indo-Pacific like the United States, Japan, South Korea, and the Philippines. Because when it comes to defending something as vital as global connectivity, we're all in this together. At the same time, I want to say something that might be a little controversial, but it needs to be said. Some groups in Taiwan should really stop constantly criticizing Elon Musk. Instead of pushing him away, we should be thinking about how to build a working relationship with him. Yes, Taiwan is developing its own communication infrastructure, and that's great, but how about having Starlink as an additional option? That would be a huge advantage, especially in a crisis. Let's be honest, who wouldn't want more tools, more support, and more global partners in a time of need? Of course, I fully support the government's efforts to build Taiwan's own low Earth orbit satellite system. That's a crucial long-term investment. It would allow Taiwan to keep basic communication services running even in the middle of a national emergency. But here's the problem. Right now, there are signs that the necessary budget for it might be getting blocked in the legislature, which is controlled by the KMT party, which is pro-China. And that's something the public needs to be talking about, because we can't afford to play political games with national security. At the end of the day, protecting undersea cables and ensuring reliable external communication, even when those cables are damaged, has to be a core part of Taiwan's defense strategy. What China is doing with these cable disruptions, it's not just provocation, it's a part of a new kind of warfare, a smokeless battlefield, fought with tools you can't always see, but that hit just as hard. In the face of these challenges, I believe every Taiwanese citizen needs to stay alert. This isn't just a government issue, it's a nationwide issue. And the public has a responsibility too, to hold the government accountable, to demand stronger defenses, and to support efforts that build real partnerships with our international allies. Because in times like these, isolation is not an option. The undersea cable incidents we saw at the beginning of 2025 are more than technical problems, they're warnings. China is always there, just off the Taiwan's coast. Not only with military aircraft and warships entering the Taiwanese air and sea space, but also with cyber warfare, information warfare, and increasingly infrastructure sabotage. The Chinese Communist Party's invisible war on Taiwan is not some far-off threat. It's already happening, right now, right in front of us. And Taiwan must be fully prepared to face what's coming, because these provocations aren't going away, they're escalating. And how we respond now will shape our future. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please press like, subscribe, and share. This is Dan. I see you in the next one.